I would like to invite the representative of Mr. Victor Famoyibo to come please make his presentation to us, speaking to us on the topic. He's going to be speaking to us on developing and sustaining productivity-based reward system for organizational growth. Mr. Niyi, please.
Introduced, and I'm also representing Victor Famoyibo, HR Director of Nigerian Business and the current President of Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. He's unavoidably absent. As a matter of fact, he had accepted to be here today, and it's not in his character not to honor invitation. But one thing led to the other, he could not be here. First of all, we all are aware of the World Economic Forum, and it so happened that our global president, any global president, is also the president of the chairman of the forum that is going on in Abuja as we speak. He didn't plan to be there until yesterday when the regional president, maybe a structure, we have the global, we have the region, and then we have OPCO, Nigerian business. Because it turned out to be yesterday the regional president who was in Abuja said, how come you are not here? Can you please find your way here? And of course, if your global president is calling you and your regional president is calling you, what do you do? And the issue of reward, it's something that is very, very challenging. The other time he was, and when in his introduction, he was talking about talent, and talent being scarce. Of course, cannot say but less. The Bible says many are called, few are chosen. That's how it is in the market today. Recently, we placed some adverts in the newspapers. We are looking for a lot of people, looking for engineers, looking for reward specialists, looking for tax managers, looking for medical doctors. You'll be shocked the quality of CVs we got. For instance, as a reward specialist, we only got 2, and we are looking for 7 people. We only got 2 just for the CV alone. It is that bad, and we got 2. For doctors, probably now we've got many doctors. We're looking for one doctor, about 42. We do have 42 applications, and that's not bad. Let's see how many we will get out of that number. So it also buttress this point. And look, these resources are, these human talents, as we call them, are really very, very scarce. So for this next 10 minutes or so, this is what we'll talk about. I have 20 minutes for the discussion. We'll talk, go through the slides in the next 10 minutes. And we'll spend the 10 minutes to have some discussion on what I've put down here. The issue of reward, it's something that is very, very sensitive. Because that's one of the major objectives why we work anyway. Everybody, I mean, go to work because we want adequate reward for whatever you have put in place. We want adequate reward. That's one. Okay, there are some other objectives we will try to fulfill by going to work. But I think for most of us, the number one objective is pay. We cannot run away from that. And we always recommend that, look, these are some of the practical steps that we can take in order to have a performance or productivity-based reward system that will lead to organizational growth. We put down some of these processes. That, look, let's have an objective recruitment process. We create an enabling environment where the individual can perform. We set some smart objectives and targets for the person. Then we can now talk about a very solid reward policy. In Nigerian business, that's the way we've tried to drive the productivity of performance-based organization, and also leads to growth, and also leads to expansion. Yeah, there are a few things here. The first thing we try to do is to create that environment, that enabling environment where the individual can perform very well. We have a very good climate. What we do most of the times is that we do what we call employee survey. We try to gauge the temperature of the business. What are the people what are the things we are doing right? What are those things that we're not doing right? They give us feedback, and a lot of times we try to correct that, because we want a very good environment that will make our employees to perform. And that also really leads to employee engagement. An average employee, must be very engaged, otherwise it becomes a problem for him or her to deliver. Yes, there must be very clear business objectives. Everybody must be very, especially those at the top, they must be very clear with business objectives. And we do a lot of things to also support the individuals. We have a very clear career path for everybody, very strong relationship between subordinates and line managers, and we also place a lot of emphasis on teamwork. Then reward and recognition. I will come back to that later. Also, employees' work-life balance. An average executive to an average manager today, work-life balance is a big problem, because we are all under constant pressure to deliver. I was talking about Victor, just I can imagine the number of hours he's able to sleep in the last 4 or 5 days. I just imagine it. He was talking to me on the phone this morning at 6 a.m. and this somebody who still sent a mail at about 1 a.m. And 6 a.m. was calling me to remind me of something else I need to do for him. And that's how it is for a lot of us who have so much responsibility and so much. And a lot of times this issue of work balance has become a big challenge in the workplace today. I don't know what, maybe during the discussion that will follow, I also want to share and let me know how you guys to cope with this issue of work-life balance. Improve employee retention. So some of us who are very, those people in my generation, of course retention was not a problem. I've worked for almost 25 or 28 years, and I've only worked in 2 organizations. Before I joined Nigerian Breweries, I was in Friesland campaign, and those making people. And those are the only 2 organizations that I've worked. I have a cousin who has only worked for 7 years, and he has worked in 6 organizations. 7 years and has worked in 6 organizations. Those are the issues that we are faced with these days, especially the millennium graduates that we have. These are graduates who are not ready to. We're just going to say, how come that your home office will stay for 18 years? What were you doing for 18 years? What just explain to me? I didn't know where to start, because to him it looks so strange that how can one person be going to one company for 18 years, day in, day out, and the current company I've also spent maybe about 7 years. How come that? To him it's very strange. And the issues of retention these days goes beyond pay. Goes beyond pay, because these are their own thoughts, their own. I can see a few of the millennium employees in this room. Their thoughts, their perspective of life is completely different from those of us older generation, and it's the way they are brought up. I remember some few years ago, I was lying down on the bed, and I told my child, who is in UK, and I look, can you please close the door? He said, why, Daddy? But you are closer to the door. I was rattled. For the next 5 seconds, I was looking for an answer. Because for me, for instance, when my father was lying down in bed, there was no way I would have been sitting on the bed anyway. It was not possible. If I venture, I was unlucky that I was the one to be called because we were 5. If I was unlucky, I was the one to be called. Of course, one put our hands at the back and hear what the man was going to tell us. If he said close the door, we can close it and dash it. I said, no, Daddy, you are closer to the door. I had to quickly look for an answer. I said, okay, yes, that's true. But I'm an old man, and it takes a lot of energy, a lot of this to go to that door and close it. And of course, he got up and closed the door. Whether I convinced him or not, I wasn't too sure. And I was just telling him more than I knew. And that's the way the youth of today, that's the way they are brought up. We encourage them to speak up their minds. We encourage them to tell us the way they see it. And they are coming to a place of work. When they come to a place of work, I want to guard these guys, they're not going to accept. And that's why the issue of detention is becoming very, very critical. We have an HR conference in Organisational too long ago, and we say, look, we need to find a way of managing these young ones. We go to career summit in Africa and UK to recruit them, bring a lot of them from Nigeria, and yet the issue of detention is becoming a problem because if you guard them, you don't give them that enabling environment, they leave. The world is their horizon, all their friends in the world, and half of their friends, they've never even seen them, they are virtual friends. They've not seen their friends, and that's my friend. You can imagine somebody saying, that's my friend. So you've not seen before, you say it's your friend. Well, maybe we have another forum to discuss these million guys and without land. So the issue of detention, I hope we have some time to also discuss that. I want to have, let's also see how everybody is trying to cope with this new set of graduates that are coming to places of work. Our economy will improve one day. It is a very big economy. It's fun to work in Nigeria. A very big economy. So large. Let's talk about whether we are number one or number two. I'm not an economist, so that's not it. But it's very large. A lot of resources, good population, youthful population, and it's so blessed. But one way or the other, there are a lot of things that we're not getting right as a nation. But as organizations, let us see what we can do to make sure that we have a legacy to leave for others. Yes, we also have consistent improvement in business performance. The business of today is very, very difficult. Very, very difficult. As we mentioned in the opening speech, the cost of business is very, very high. Apart from electricity, apart from water, sometimes you travel to your business. And another dimension these days is security. All the top executives you no longer buy car, then it has to be an armored car because you know what it is for the top executives to be kidnapped. Because of the conference and because of the World Economic Forum, we sent about 6 armored cars to Abuja to take executives. I know the cost of an armored car. We buy, none of them is less than 50 million. We buy the bomb-proof type. We buy. Yes. And we have a lot of expatriates working with us. And the only good thing is that even in our organization, we have a lot of Nigerians too. So it's not as if we are over expatriated. To allow me to use that word. But we have so many Nigerians who are also working in NBPLC International. The MD of NBPLC in Hungary is a Nigerian, and so many in the world. So because of our organization, we have a lot of expatriation going on. And we spend so much on security because you know what it is to have one person kidnapped, the type of ransom they make. So the business is getting complex and complex. And even for a lot of businesses, the whole of Northeast is shut down. The whole of Northeast is shut down, for obvious reasons. Even on the other day, I had somebody complain from FTC that it's becoming impossible for people to even make calls because most of the mass of the equipment they have there have been brought down and no free movement, even in the market. It's even worse for those of us. I don't know whether one is those of us who are in the beer industry. You cannot even openly display your products again, and even people can no longer gather in groups to drink. And not just something people no longer gather. So you can imagine what the whole of Northeast is turning to. Hope that measures being put in place by the president will get to solve the issues at hand. So next. Yeah, what we always, what we always do and also work for us is to have a very good reward strategy. And we first of all talk about philosophy and things that drive reward. We always say that let's try and attract, retain, and motivate good employees. It is not very easy to find experienced persons. It's very difficult. People with the right skills, people with the right competencies. It is very, very difficult, especially at high level. Even at low level, it's also very difficult. Those of us in manufacturing, we know what we go through to even get artisans. I don't know what individuals, their experiences are here. To even get carpenters to come and fit one thing for you at home is a problem. To get the other day, wanted to create a car. The man said, look, I don't have somebody to assist me. Please keep the car first. That's a painter now. It is that bad. So for some of us, what we now do is that look, we go and recruit young graduates, we train them and put them on the job. Even for our university graduates, the one we take, for the next 1 year, we take them into training school in Ibadan and try to bring them to the standard where they can start to work with us. So it's really difficult to get good hands. And maybe some organizations are lucky, but there are some of us who are not that lucky, maybe because we are not many, or maybe because of our size. But where do we poach for? If we want to poach, for instance, if we need a poor, where do we poach for? If we need a package, where do we poach for? Maybe some other organizations like banks, maybe they are luckier, they can, if they are in IBTC, maybe you can poach from GT, from GT, maybe they are lucky. But a lot of us are not as lucky as some of these organizations. So the issue of getting talent is a big issue. What we've always tried to do is once we have these people, after going through all the rigors, we now have what those we think can now work with us. The first thing we try to do is that we try to link the organization's growth with individuals' growth. We have a very robust performance management system that throws up good performers, also throws up those who are not meeting up. And periodically we are able to deal with those who are not meeting up for a lot of coaching, a lot of counseling. As he said in his introduction, because of recruitment is very, very expensive. The other time we were looking for sales executives, the number of applications we got was like 27,000. And we engaged an outfit called Workforce to come and interview them. At the end of the day, we spent more than 30 million because we set certain criteria. We say, look, if you have 5 credits at a sitting and you have a BSc in all these courses, many of these courses we're going to invite you. And in order to do that, of course, every application we got was subjected to this screening. And so to arrive at where we take maybe about 200 persons, we spend almost over 30 million to get these people in. I have to tell you how expensive it is, and we spend another maybe 2 million training them to bring them to the standard where they can work for us. You can now imagine just after 1 year, we spend almost about 3 or 4 million naira on an individual. Then that person now says he wants to leave. You can now imagine the pain that you could go through. So we don't want anybody to leave. But as I said, these people we don't want to leave, these are the people who are not prepared to stay long on any job. So we need to do a lot of things to make the place very comfortable for them. So we check our workplace so that make sure that look, there's internal equity and externally competitive. Even if you are coming in, yes, we spend a lot of money to attract them. At the same time, we do not want to discourage those who are in. So from time to time, we are checking the temperature. How are we relative to those who are inside? How are we relative to the market? How much is Guinness paying? How much is BAT paying? For us, the only people probably we don't compare ourselves with are the oil companies. You know, those are who does extract and they make dollars. So we can't. You know what is what we go through to get a bottle of beer out. You know, we cannot easily compare ourselves with those. Then you must also have easily reward system that you can easily communicate, and also the issue of affordability. Even if you want to do all you plan to do and you cannot afford it, then what can you relate to? So the issue of also affordability is very, very key. So these are the drivers, these are the factors that drive your reward strategy. Suppose performance, and under performance we have merit. Merit is the product for many organizations. It's a product of performance management. Every year we have performance management review, and people are given relative scores, and whatever you score translates to a certain amount increase in your salary. Also, it's also a system that throws up those to be promoted. If somebody is performing at high level consistently, that's somebody who is ready for promotion. Also, another driver is the issue of adjustment for inflation, and this is one of the strong points of the labor unions. As the highly unionized environment, the food, beverage, and tobacco is a highly unionized environment, and apart from the bank, probably textile industry, NBPLC, the National Union of Food Beverages, another very vibrant union, and they drive the reward system very high, at a very high rate, because every 2 years we have what we call collective labor agreement. Every 2 years, and in the past 10 years or so, every 2 years they arrive at a rate between 20 and 25%. Every 2 years. Of course, there's nothing we can do about that, because that's what we subscribe to, and you can imagine that pressure. And if every 2 years you pay a salary increase of between 20 and 25%, you can imagine if somebody's salary, even by membership alone, by being in that organization, and every 2 years you have between 20 and 25%, you can imagine what that person's salary will be if you had been in that organization 10 years ago. And the way many of the organizations, the way our pay structure is, the way it is structured is such that a lot of things are tied to the base salary. Some housing allowance is tied to that, gratuity is tied to that, pension contribution is tied to that, and a long list of other things are usually tied to that. You cannot imagine where we are. And that's one of the challenges we face, especially those of us in unionized environment, like food, beverage, and tobacco, and I'm sure NOPEC will be going through the same thing, and probably textile. The only problem for textile these days is they have a lot of problems. Survival is a big problem for them. So it could be that maybe the union has typed that. But for those of us in food, beverage, and tobacco, it's a big challenge. And every 2 years, we talk of collective labor agreement. Of course, we also have market increases, as I said earlier on. I know sometimes we also go through the market because you don't want your talents, those talents to have a big sweat before you bring them in. You don't want your competitors to take them away. For us, we don't want Guinness to take them away. We don't want SAP Milan to take them away, so we always protect them. The only person that we probably cannot stop, if Shell wants to take them away, it's going to be a challenge. So these are some of the things that we go through. So in summary, what we always say that, look, for us to have a very strategic productivity or performance-based reward system, first of all, we need to create that environment where the people you are bringing in will be able to deliver. Secondly, you also need to set targets for them, achieving very smart targets. And look, this and this you want to achieve, and you ascribe percentages to them. Then, once they do that, then of course you must also pay, because you've said that, look, if you make this if you make this target, this is what I will pay you. Can we have the last slide, please? So what we've done, as I said, is look, we have a annual performance bonus scheme that is based in 2 parts. We have what we call a productivity bonus. based on corporate performance. At the corporate level, the business says that, look, this is what we're going to achieve, that this year we want to make maybe 10 million hectoliters or whatever units of products you want to do. And if you do that, this is what I want to give you as a percentage of your salary. We want to increase EBIT by X, Y, Z. If you do that, that's what we give you. So if you do that, of course there are agreements that, look, if you do this, this is what I will give you. But if you make this percentage of it, this is what you will get. And when those achievements are made, they are adequately rewarded. And a big percentage of our income is tied to this performance. The other one is the incentive cash award is based on individual's performance. Everybody has some KPIs that, look, if you do this, you will get this. If you do that, you will get X, Y, Z. And we really just follow that. And large, you have up to between 20 and 30% of your income based on your performance. That's how far we'll be able to do. Why it is a bit difficult is that, look, we have history where you have a lot of people who are being paid for being members of that organization. Especially if you look at the ministries, once you are in that ministry, of course, you get your salary. In food, beverage and tobacco industries, we are always struggling with the union. Let us shift from membership that, look, whether you work or not, have this 20%, 25% increase. Let us shift a good percentage of this to performance. If you perform at this level, this is what you will get. That's one battle. Many of us who are in unionized environment, that's one battle we've been fighting, and we hope that one day we will be able to achieve it. So the first one is at the corporate level, and the second one is at individual level. Of course, close to the incentive cash allowance is the merit increase, which is also proportional to how much you score, also percentage of whatever you're going to get as merit increase. So basically that's my own experience in Nigerian bureaus, and let's throw the floor open and let's share some of your own experiences too. Good morning.
Yeah, at this point the floor is open. So he has spoken to us on basically what it is that they do, driving performance, growth with performance. So are there questions? Are there contributions? Are there experiences, practical experiences that any one of us want to share, or challenges that we have encountered in our individual organizations trying to drive performance or create a performance-based reward system in our own organizations? So the mic will be on the floor to move around. If you want the mic to be brought to you, please indicate with the rest of your hand. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alabi. I work with Organisational. I'd like to ask, sir, we're having this challenge at the organization. Usually, most of our recruits are young people like millennium people like yes, and then most of them we spend a lot of time training them and all these strategies to try to put in place. But we see that this problem we usually have. Once there's a new airline that comes out in Nigeria, most of our employees go to the other side. And why? Because of the benefits that the airline is giving, which we can't afford because we're not an airline. We only sell tickets on their behalf and all that. So I'm wondering, what can we do to retain these people? Because there's always this time of the year, and it's about now. Just yesterday, just 3 people resigned from our organization. My MD is furious. I have to come up with something to make the other people stay. So how can we help?
Okay, who wants to respond to that? Yeah? Okay, let's hear you. Okay.
Hi, my name is Alabi. I work with BusinessDay Media. In relation to our question, I was going to ask, do you ever consider or has it crossed your mind this issue of people signing a bond? How appropriate is it? I hear he works in some organization, and some organizations don't consider it at all. Can we actually consider that in solving the issue of retention?
Okay.
It's truly okay. I work for Privilege Rewards and Incentives. It's a reward incentive organization. Essentially, my take on it, I've also had problems with staffing. But I find that I've done a bit of research, and I find that in a whole lot of organizations, especially the smaller ones, there is no, when people come in, actually don't know, have an idea, or there's no career progress plan. Do you understand? In corporate organizations, say Shell for example, when you come in as a new recruit, you actually get your interview. By the time you get in your appointment letter, you know that you're either on fast track, which means where it would take people 9 years to get to, you probably get there in 5. For some people, it will take them that 9 years. But then everybody knows what they're going. But in a whole lot of organizations, people come in. So when people who really will be on fast track get rewarded and promoted rapidly, it demoralizes the other people who have been there, and they feel like, oh well, this is favoritism. Do you understand? So I think that really, especially in small organizations, we need to take time out. 3 months' time, this is the level of productivity that is expected from me. If they're doing that, then they know, they're making progress. If they're not doing it, then they don't expect to be promoted. So I think we need to actually go back to the basics.
We've got to understand that. But interestingly enough, we have found out that retention is employees in smaller companies. That if you attract the right people, the employee engagement is higher. About 36% of employees in smaller companies have higher employee engagement as against 29 even in Shell and the rest of them. Why is that so? One of the things you want to take back today when you go back to Organisational.com is to evolve some kind of framework to begin to attract the kind of people that are looking for what you have to offer. What do I mean by that? Some people, there are 2 kinds of things you want to look at for: the hygiene factors in psychology and the motivational factors. Some people focus on the money, and that's why they go to place like Shell. In Nigeria, they'll Carnegie train you well, just about 10 people. Just 10. The key issue now is look for the people who are looking to work for a small size organization. What are they looking for? The man, Niyi, Alabi, thank you, he spoke about the fact that they can compete with Shell on money. So what we want to do, he spoke about work-life balance. When people work for small organizations, you want to make them what we call unique president. In other words, make them feel like they work for themselves. You're not going to have to subject them to the same kind of rules and regulations that you will find in a bank or in Shell or wherever it is. How do I mean? I have a colleague who resumed work in December. 5 days after, she said she needed to go up on Christmas, and I signed up on the 11th day of. You can't find that in a big organization. So you do things like that, flexi work hours. I have a company in the UK that people come to work only on Mondays. They work from home. I'm not saying they may work in Nigeria, but technology is getting to the point where companies are beginning to act not for a physical presence, but performance. What are you putting on the table? I don't have to have you sit in my office 5 to 9. What are the deliverables? We have what we call key performance standards. Once we agree on your deliverables, which are time specific, if you want to run off to wherever, I really don't care, so long I can see the performance on the table. That's the kind of incentive that people who work for small organizations become the attraction, not on pay. They know that if I need to run off for a wedding in the UK, I can. I need to run off for a funeral in Enugu, I can. Because you don't have those kind of rigidities. That I work for a bank for one of my former colleagues here, where for a woman they will say to you that you can't get pregnant until you have worked for 1 year. You can't afford to have those kind of rules in a small organization. These are the kind of incentives you've got to start to give. How can you explain that an organization gives an employee 2 weeks holiday after 5 days of resumption? It can only happen in a small firm. Those are the kind of incentives that you want to take back home to begin to retain people. If you want to look at salary, you can never compete. But I can tell you that there are people right now in this country who are looking to take a pay cut but to get this kind of flex. Your challenge is, where are they, who are they, and how can I be on that?
getting a question. Let me come to her before I come to you. She's been raising her hand.
Good morning, all. My name is Get. Would you permit me to say it? Can I say please?
Go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Get Okoli. I work with a luxury trading company. Prior to that, I've had experience in FMCG. I've also worked in bank. All under having experience in human resources. Before he said something, it's a fantastic, fantastic idea he just gave us. I have been having these issues, even with the big corporations. Having retention is also an issue. But like the first speaker who said, what you do is to leverage on whatever that it's your own, whatever that is the disadvantage of the bigger ones. And you know, retailing is a new revolution business in Nigeria. The Nigerian labor market are not finding it so good. Why? Because you work 7 days in a week. So it's always a big issue. Coming into this company, a lot of staff turnover was a massive. Somebody was saying, so I had to do a study, and I come to the conclusion, it just clicked. It wasn't even because of the experience I had. I just take it as a grace. You know, grace is something you don't merit, but it just comes. And I said to myself, I've talked to them, why are you leaving? Because at the time, I had a very good, I was so fortunate that the MD started listening to me, compared to those who were there before I came. She said, okay, increase. Even with the salary increase, they were still leaving. And it just clicked. I said, okay, all right, like he said, in a big organization, you know, you can never have your lead because it's level guided unless you have spent 11 months in a company. So what do? Somebody just said, oh, my mom, I need to go 1 week. My MD as well will say, excuse me, what are you trying to say? I said, madam, cool down. She will come back. And we begin to stabilize. In 3 months, we're not having anybody leaving. Because we were offering, I took advantage of what was a problem to the corporate world and turned it to become an incentive without necessarily growing my payroll costs. So that was what I wanted to just chip in, because this is like a solution grant. Until he also said something and I said, wow, this is a solution that came out of experience, not just out of grace that I put. Thank you so much.